At school, my favorite subjects were geography and history. I knew very well many interesting places and their history. I was fascinated by the life of our ancestors, their customs, their way of life. I admired the history of my city. Initially, I worked as a tour guide. We traveled by bus with a group of people. I showed them the sights of our city. I liked my job. I felt needed. All my excursions were not just the usual story and pointing a finger at a certain place. I always tried to decorate my excursions. There were both jokes and interesting moments from history that few people knew about. Thanks to this, my excursions were popular. It was on one of these excursions that I met Gina. She was a beautiful brunette with very slender legs. I immediately spotted her among the crowd. She looked at me with a smile throughout the entire tour. There was something unusual in her gaze that confused me. At the end of the tour, Gina approached me. "Jacob, your tour was incredible. I really liked it, but only you have a serious drawback." The girl confused me. "And what did you not like about my tour?" I asked with a smile. "Everything is very simple. You did not name a single decent restaurant where you can spend time." "I'm sorry, this is not a historical place, but the best restaurant in my experience is the restaurant Claude Monet in the city center. This is a great place with amazing French cuisine. I will say more. The best that is in French cuisine is prepared in this restaurant. Sounds incredibly tempting. You intrigued me. By the way, my name is Gina. Very nice, Gina. And it would be even more pleasant for me if you personally gave me a personal tour of this restaurant. I'm afraid that without your knowledge, I won't be able to feel the beauty of French cuisine because I don't understand it at all. Do not refuse the girl. Keep me company." "Well, I am very pleased. If you want, I can keep you company, for today my work is finished. You just saved today my day from boredom. I am very grateful to you. That's how I met my future wife. And now Gina and I have been married for 16 years. Gina was a very active girl. She loved to travel, especially she enjoyed camping in nature. She liked camping since childhood. She took me on such adventures quite often, but I didn't really like that kind of vacation. Agreed only because Gina wanted it. Sleeping on an air mattress or a cot was clearly not for me, and besides, those annoying insects. In general, I liked more comfortable places to stay. All my life I have lived in the city. Since childhood I did not work out with outdoor recreation. I have made great progress in my work. I was no longer a tour guide. Soon I organized my own company with excursions. I myself developed interesting and proven programs for tourists, which were popular, so the flow of customers was uninterrupted. This money was enough to travel with Gina to the most interesting places on our planet. Basically, we went to incredibly beautiful places where we set up tents. I got used to this way of rest more and more. Most importantly, I was madly in love with Gina, so I didn't care where I was with her. Somehow, at the same time, we turned to one travel agency. Gina recommended this place. Bradley met us. "Gina, finally, you brought your husband," Bradley said admiringly. "Yes, Bradley, nice to meet you. Gina told me a lot about your work," I said. "Yes, guys, I have prepared just fabulous conditions for you to relax. The price may seem high to you, but no one will give you such opportunities. What's this? Can we seriously rest in these reserves? As far as I remember, people are not allowed there at all." "You're right, Jacob. Exactly. But I was able to ensure that my best clients could visit these places. You will visit places where other people were not destined to visit." "Well, Bradley, if this is really true, then I am extremely happy and want to use your services. We have chosen one of the incredible places. This trip was just amazing. I have never seen such beauty before, at least live. But after this trip, Bradley increasingly began to appear in our lives. This was not only due to our use of his services. Bradley became a friend of our family. More precisely, he was more friends with Gina. Personally, this type was not very pleasant to me. He liked to talk about himself and brag about his accomplishments. "Jacob, how are things in business?" Bradley asked me with a smile. Yes, everything is fine. There are clients. This is good. But I understand that you stopped expanding, run out of ideas or opportunities. No, just as long as it suits me the way it is. Clearly, well, Gina, unlike your husband, do not want to stand still. I opened a couple more new locations. You will definitely like it there. Bradley, what a fine fellow you are. We will gladly come. Gina, if suddenly Jacob does not succeed with work, then come alone. I'll make sure you don't get bored. So Bradley, let's take it easy. I can think something is wrong, I replied with indignation. Jacob, my friend, you obviously misunderstood me. I just want Gina to enjoy this vacation and you if you can get out this time. Gina said you were swamped with work. Yes, I have a lot of work. In general, I did not want to say anything superfluous. Here's my offer for you, and you decide for yourself. Bradley's interactions with Gina irritated me more and more. I became less and less involved in the conversation with them. And the strangest thing is that Gina was too sweet to talk to this guy. Darling, I have to tell you that I really dislike your communication with Bradley. This guy really pisses me off. And even more, I do not like the way you behave around him. Jacob, what's going on again? What am I doing? Or what didn't you like about Bradley? Yes, he is constantly cracking like a peacock, always trying to tease me, telling me how well he is doing, trying to downplay the importance of my affairs. When this son of a bitch is undressing you with his eyes, this is not the first time I notice this, and every time he becomes bolder and bolder, and you more and more reciprocate him. Should I continue? I said angrily. Where did you get so many nuances from? Jacob, what's on your mind? I'm just friendly with Bradley. He is a friend to you too. He's not my friend. This is a brazen guy who got into our family and feels right at home. Honey, why are you acting like that? Calm down, please. You're winding yourself up. You know that I love only you. I don't need anyone else. Look how wonderful we live. I do not want to change anything. Okay, maybe so. But he is a complex person, and it is not easy for me to find a common language with him. I'm just saying that let's cut contact with him. Recently, it has become too much in our lives. All right, Jacob, whatever you say. Gina tried to behave as usual, only I noticed that she behaved a little suspiciously. Gina did not work. The money that I earned was quite enough to provide for her. And I began to worry more and more about what she does in her free time without me. Bradley and I didn't see each other so often. But still, I felt that something was not right. I tried to follow Gina. I said I was leaving for work, but in fact I drove not far from home and began to observe. Gina left the house and followed her usual route. She went to the grocery store, then walked around the market, went to the beauty salon. In general, she was engaged in ordinary women's affairs. I tried to follow her in the evening when she said that she would go for a walk with her friends, but there was nothing out of the ordinary here either. Gina behaved quite naturally. She did not see anyone else. I started to calm down. I felt like a fool, a crazy, jealous man who just went crazy. I felt better. I was convinced that Gina did not deceive me. I laughed at myself, but I was glad that my fears were not confirmed. But I still couldn't figure out why she acted weird around me, and she didn't tell me anything. The other day, Gina was going to go to another fabulous place from Bradley. I had a lot of work, so I calmly let Gina go on this trip herself. After a while, her friend Carla called me. Jacob, hello, this is Carla. Do you remember? Yes, Carla. What happened? If you're looking for Gina, she's gone for a week. She might not have a connection, I answered. I know that she left, and therefore I can talk to you calmly. Do you have free time today to meet me? I have to tell you something. All right, Carla. Will you do it in the park at 5 o'clock in the evening? Yes, quite agreed. Carla had a very disturbed voice, and my inner worries reappeared. I suspected something bad was going on. In the evening, I met Carla. Hello, Carla. Hey, Jacob. So what was it that you wanted to tell me that was so important? Listen, Jacob. Talking about Gina, Hasn't she seemed strange to you lately? Yes, I noticed, but I could not find an explanation for this. I'll tell you everything now. Just control yourself and no matter what happens, don't betray me. Okay, Carla, I promise. So what happened? In general, Gina knew that you were following her. She deliberately led you by the nose, and she covered herself with us so as not to tell you the truth. During this time, she has changed a lot. Initially, she just asked us, and then she began to threaten us, to treat us like some kind of slave. I've already got it right. Her antics overwhelmed my patience. I do not know with whom, but she secretly went to someone. Tall blonde with gray eyes is all I know. It is he. I took out my phone and showed a photo of Bradley. Yes, yes, he was with her for sure. That bitch. Okay, Carla, I really appreciate you. I promise no one will know it was you who told me this. Thanks again. I need to run, I said and hurriedly got into my car. My thoughts were confused. It was anxiety and disappointment and anger. It dawned on me that these deceitful creatures were deceiving me. And I so calmly let Gina go with this freak. I needed to know more about Bradley. What he did has always puzzled me. I pulled up my connections and found out that this freak was completely illegally setting up his campsites in these territories. He just gave bribes but did not receive official permission. For such a machination, this freak could have been put in jail for a long time. I did not delay and went to the place where Gina was supposed to be. I arrived at the place. There were many tents. I walked around the campsite and saw the tent that Gina always took with her. It was early morning. People were still sleeping in their tents. I crept up to Gina's tent and looked inside, saw Gina riding naked on Bradley, who grabbed her hips. These bitches decided to have sex early in the morning. I wanted to tear up the tent and beat all the crap out of those freaks. But I restrained myself and decided to surprise them. I quickly tied the tent to my car with a cable and pressed the gas pedal to the maximum. The car pulled out the tent with these freaks. I dragged them all over the campsite like trash in a bag. They fluttered and screamed, but I drove on. As I drove out of the campsite, I turned around sharply and these bastards flew off the cliff into the lake. The tent tore open and the creatures plunged into the swampy water. Jacob, is that you? Greedily swallowing air and wiping the dirt from her eyes, shouted Gina. Yes, bitch, it's me. Didn't you expect it? You are lying scum. I'll kill you, bitch, shouted an angry Bradley, trying to get out of the mud. Shut up, you bastard, before I drown you in this ditch, I shouted, grabbed a long, strong stick and hit the bastard with it hard in the teeth. Bradley flew back into the mud, whimpering in pain. So, Gina, I'm not interested in your excuses. I'm filing for divorce and you'll be left with nothing. You can't rely on this bastard. He will go to jail. All his campings in these places are illegal, and he will pay for everything. And you live on with your bare ass. You cheap betting. Do not return home. Your things are already in the garbage pit, I said to the sound of approaching police cars, which I called to this place. Bradley was arrested. He's shown a huge turn behind bars. I quickly broke up with Gina, leaving her nothing. But I was no longer interested in her future fate. I was pleased with my revenge. It helped me to improve my future life.